From the heartbeat of the Republic, this is the PAWA podcast. Be powerful. Bringing you independent voices, expert opinion, driving change.
Saseni, niaje. Welcome to PAWA Pod, the series Mjue MCA Wako, episode 4. We have with us Aisha Said. Karibu sana. How have you been?
I have been well.
Kindly let us get to know you. Yes, on the political side and also who you are as a person. Mm-hmm. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much. Asante sana. I'm so much happy to be here today. My name is Aisha Said Ibrahim. I am an MCA aspirant for Makina Ward in Kibra constituency. And I'm vying on the UDA ticket. Okay. Yeah, so aside from politics, I'm a gender expert. I graduated last year from Kenyatta University, having pursued Bachelor of Arts in Gender and Development Studies.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so I'm so much passionate about gender issues, leadership and governance. I was a student leader in KU in the year 2018-2019. I served as the Gender and Special Needs Secretary. Yeah, so I'm so much passionate about gender issues and leadership and governance.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. I also know that you work with the Social Justice Center, sorry?
Yes.
Yeah, you can tell us a bit about that. What you do.
So I work closely with communities, and my work majorly revolves in Kibra, where I was born and raised. Yeah, so that's where I majorly work.
Okay, so you've worked with the youth from the area.
Yes.
Would you say that is what has inspired you to want to get into leadership, to be an MCA?
I think two things have inspired me to vie as an MCA in this election. The first thing is my urge to see change in my community. Because, of course, working closely with communities means I engage so much na watu wa community in different issues. Kama ni story ya giving girls sanitary pads, kama time ya COVID we gave people food, different sensitizations on different topics, kama ni drugs and all that. So the moment unaingia mtaa unaona tu shida mingi, like people are really struggling. Health systems imefail nini, youth empowerment maboy wanaamka tu wanakaa base and all that.
True.
Yeah, so kukaa kuangalia, and then now with my passion for, but then I'm so much passionate about politics. I remember hata nikiwa mdogo I used to watch news and all that.
Why didn't you take political science?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, so merging those two, my passion for politics, leadership and governance, and also wanting to see a better Makina Ward is what drove me to vie.
Wow, that is really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm proud of you as a young lady.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Let us get into the topic of the day. As I mentioned, this is a governance series, and we'll go straight to chapter 6 of the Constitution, which speaks about, which covers the leadership and integrity. Yeah. As a young person who wants to represent your ward, what is your stand on this chapter of the Constitution?
I think kitu moja mi usema, as a country, Kenya, we have one of the best policies. When it comes to constitution, we have one of the best constitutions and all that. And when you look at chapter 6 of the Constitution, which talks about leadership and integrity, manze, mi nafili country tungekuwa na leaders wenye wana follow hiyo, tungekuwa mbali sana. Because when you see as a country, for example, issues kama za corruption ndo zimederaili country nyuma. We have so many issues zenye, watu kama wangekuwa wana follow chapter 6 of the Constitution, tungekuwa mbele, cause hatungekuwa na story ya corruption. Mtu angekuwa akichaguliwa anafanya ile kazi amechaguliwa cause it is in that chapter na mambo kama hayo. So I strongly believe in that. And as a leader, I also believe that I possess and I follow that. Yes, because I believe it's really unfair to embezzle people's money. Pesa umepatiwa ya madawa, unakula, and then we have kids wenye wanakosa madawa na wazazi wao. Like, it's really sad. Unapatiwa pesa ya kutengeneza barabara, you eat it, watu wanateseka na potholes na drainage and all that. So I really feel like as a country we need to take it so seriously, because the moment we take it seriously is the moment we will start to see the real change in this country. And it is also a challenge to the voters, because it is sad. I'm sure we have an ideal country and vitu kwa ground venye ziko. Juu kiangalia, we even have some of the leaders, it is sad to say, wenye wako na corruption issues, wenye wako na hizo issues za integrity, but wakikuja kwa wananchi bado awa wananchi ndo wanawapatia hiyo kura. So it really becomes hard to like balance.
So whose fault is it? Is it the politicians or is it the citizens? It's everyone who is driving this.
I think it's everyone, including even the judiciary and everybody. Because you see, one, kwa voters, mnajua mse kabisa akona corruption cases and all that. But due time ya election amekuja amekupatia unga ama sombili, unaona this is the best person. And also to the leaders, I always believe that as a leader, you need to be self-conscious. Wewe kabisa unajua ni pesa ya watu na unakula and all that. So it's also a challenge to the leaders and also the institutions that surrounds it, because yes, a leader will be taken to court, to scare court is imekuwa compromised and all that. So I think it is everybody's responsibility to ensure that we really follow the chapter 6 of the constitution. It falls on everybody in this country.
I also believe the same. I also feel like we need to put a pause on everything, because sitetei wananchi, but unakuja kufanya your campaigns and I've slept hungry. So of course ukinipatia 200, I won't say no, because you are not the right person for me, but definitely my mind will focus on the money. Later on, at that moment I'm not actually thinking about the consequences, but I want to satisfy my immediate need. So as you are saying, everyone needs to think about this situation that is going on, from the citizens, from the institutions, and do what is required, like take up our responsibilities. So from what you've said, how would you rate our country, or rather our leadership, in terms of integrity and the current leadership in terms of integrity? Yes.
Wow, it's a very interesting question. But as an individual, as Aisha, I would say it's 5 out of 10. 50%. Yeah, we really have good leaders. But again, also pia ukisikiza news, we hear very horrible things about leaders. So I think for me, it's a balance. Yes, we're trying, but we're still not there.
Are we really trying? Those are my personal. Are we?
Yeah, we are, because you will see sometimes some of the legislators, some of the leaders being taken to court and all that. But again, it is sad, most of those cases zingine zikuwa political. Maybe because you're not on this side of politics, ndo files zako zinaanza kufunguliwa and all that. But when you come to this other side, hata ndo wanasema wewe ni mweupe kama pamba. So we bado tuko mbaya sana.
True. We're at a bad place, but let's not be hopeless. We have people like you who are running, and we are hoping and hoping like you'll be part of the solution. So you mentioned that the citizens sometimes wanna fail history yote ya integrity. So what is the role of citizens when it comes to carrying out integrity? Ensuring that whatever that is being done in the society, in the country, in our wards is truth, is true.
So personally I believe that the citizens have a very big role to play in all this, kwa sababu especially in this election period, hao ndo maboss. So unaona hata kila politician anaenda na waomba kura and all that.
Hao ndio maboss na wengine wanalala njaa. So they are victims. Are they not victims?
They are bosses in terms of like they are the ones who are supposed to make the decisions.
In the ideal situation.
In the ideal situation, you see. Because now, like as at now, every politician, hata yule ako huko juu kabisa, sasa utamwona akiosha choo, akifanya nini, you know. So my point is, right now, citizens ndo wako na ball on their court. And with my interactions with the citizens, people are very bright and people are really curious. Juu hata mimi nikienda ground ulizo utatufanyia nini Aisha? You know, hata ule mwingine alisema hivyo, wewe how do you promise us that you will do this? So I really appreciate, because we have citizens who are really woke, who really want to see change. And I believe that inafaa tu kama citizens pia tuchanuane. Wase tukiwa base, ongea na maboy wenzako, ongea na youth mwenzako, let's have real issues. Let's talk about issues kapsa. Because I even remember kulikuwa na election flani, there was this candidate who had money in Kibra. So unasikia mtu anasema kula kwa huyu but kura kwa huyu.
That's a good slogan.
Yes. So yes, in as much as you're coming with your monies and everything, I think kunafaa kukuwe na hiyo conscious and deliberate thinking ya kusema hata ukituletea pesa tutaikula ndio, but we will vote for the person. So I think that is one role that the citizens need to start applying, because one, citizens hawa wenyewe tu waelimishane. Ukikuwa kwa kibanda, ukikuwa kwa shop, let's have these deep conversations. And I'm sure tutabadilisha mmoja hadi Kenya isonge mbele.
I agree with you, because the kind of leaders that we choose today, or rather in August, 9th of August, will determine the quality of life for the next 5 years. So let's get into the mud and think about our problems and how we want to solve them as citizens. And as you said, at this time, we are quote unquote the bosses. So as a boss, you state what you want. I want you to do this, and if you're not meeting up my needs, then kwaheri. Tuache kuplay kama victims, because we have the power in our hands as citizens. We can determine what will happen to us for the next 5 years or so. So I have an interesting question for you. So what is your leadership philosophy in general? What is your style of leadership, to make it simpler for you?
My style of leadership is accountable leadership. And that is my slogan. Like, I believe nimekuja kukuomba kura ukanipatia. I should be accountable to you. And I think that is one thing that is missing in the political space in our country. Juu mmenichagua nimeenda, I'm not accountable to you. Unaona? Say I'm selling my manifesto, I'll do this. The moment I'll be accountable, Aisha ulisema utaleta maji iko wapi? It will push me to deliver that.
No, the question is, do the citizens actually know that there's a way to hold you accountable? That's the problem. Because it's one thing for you to say you'll be accountable. But if I as a citizen don't know how to even do it, it's another issue. And how can we solve that? How can we fill that gap?
That is the truth. Kwa sababu unaona the scenario which has been in our country ni mnachagua mtu anapotea 4.5 years, anarudi the last 6 months kuomba kura tena.
Imagine.
So it is very hard for you to put this leader into accountable. But I think we need to have systems ama zile njia ambazo zitafanya huyo leader akuwe accountable. Kama ni even meeting. And it's even sad, kuna kuagana public participation that citizens don't even participate. One, because they don't know about them. Two, hata wakikuja wana feel too, this is not important, as in ignorance. And that is one thing we are suffering as a country.
And also maybe they are so preoccupied with life. So that's the last thing that they are thinking about.
That's true. Watu wana hustle. Wezi niambia nikuje nikae hall 9 to 1 au nipei kitu eti nikuje kuongelea sijui barabara gani. Wewe tengeneza kama utatengeneza, mimi nimeenda hustle yangu. So that is very true. But I think we need to have systems which will ensure that leaders wetu wako accountable. I remember it was a meme, I'm sorry. But when the late President Kibaki died, na akawekwa parliament for people to come and view him. Somebody said inafaa pia President Uhuru awekwe hapo akiwa hai, akuje, so that people can question and put him to account. Ulisema utaleta he and he, what happened, So as a country, we need to have systems that to ensure that we put our leaders into accountable.
True. So your leadership mantra is accountability.
Yes. And that of course involves not me, but working with my people. Because hata nikiuza sera nawambia, as much as I'm coming to tell you this, I also request for your views. Because where I am, I might think youth empowerment is best solved in this way. But where you are, you have a better solution too. So accountable leadership also includes getting views from your people and working together to ensure that you solve the problems that you're facing.
True. Assessing the problem, the actual problem. So you said in your view on our integrity and leadership and integrity is 50-50, yeah? And you mentioned there are some leaders who are doing well. Will you have a leader that inspires you locally?
Yes, I do. And I've been following closely Moha for Jichopevu.
Okay.
Yes, I think he's one leader who has been so vocal on issues that affects his locality, and I really admire that about him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone internationally, regionally?
Yes, I admire, what's her name? She's a Congress lady in Minnesota. She's a Somali lady. Yes, Ilhan Omar.
Okay.
Yes, and basically it's because she broke the glass ceiling. She went against all odds to go and vie in another country, despite the racism and all that, and she has broken the glass ceiling. So that is one lady who inspires me a lot.
That is quite interesting. Yeah. I want us to talk a little about the Election Act and specifically about the roles of the MCA. So kindly mention to us, you can tell us some of the roles that the MCA carries out, so that if there are any listeners from your ward that are listening, if there are those that are not yet sure, what Aisha will be doing to us, they can always refer back and say, this is what you told us, this is your role. So
true.
Kindly help us to define the roles.
Yeah, so according to the Constitution, an MCA has 3 major roles. Number 1 is representation. As an MCA, you're supposed to represent your people in the county assembly. In case of any issue, you're supposed to be their voice. Number 2 is legislation.
Let me ask, are you representing them as a group or individual? Let's say, I'm asking because you find sometimes the community members are coming individually to Aisha. Sorry. Aisha, nimelala njaa, Aisha mtoto wangu amefukuzwa shule. So are you representing them as a community or as mama fulani?
I'm representing them as a community because you notice when we have a challenge in one locality, it affects almost everybody. Kama ni story ya, let's say in jazz, you've said, inamaanisha we need economic empowerment for our people. So it really cuts across. Mtu moja akiwa na njaa, you will notice that there are so many others who experience the same thing. So you represent a ward, a community, and the challenges that your people go through. Kama ni barabara, hata kama ni mtu mmoja amekuja kuniambia, inamaanisha it affects a lot of people who maybe have not come to tell me, ama maybe wanaongea huko chini, ni maybe tu huyo mmoja amekuja kusema. So when you represent, inamaanisha you represent your people and the issues that affects them. Yeah. So number 1 is representation. Number 2 is legislation. Yeah, so legislation is basically kupeleka bills kwa county assembly and tabling bills that will, of course, positively impact your people and the Nairobi County.
There's someone who is listening from Kibra, I'm a placing in who doesn't know a bill. Can you briefly describe to us what is a bill? What do you mean by a bill in layman's language?
In layman's language.
Yeah.
So a bill ni kitu yenye for example, kama unataka kupass law in Nairobi County, for example, tuseme traders wanakwaga tuseme na licenses 6 ya fire, ya sijui kama ni mtu anataka kuset hoteli, unahitaji sijui license ya fire, unahitaji ya health, sijui ya food, hizo zote. So kama mimi ni representative wao na nafili kitu inafinya watu wangu, through your views and your suggestions na pia venye nimeona, naeza feel, naeza peleka kitu kwa assembly, nikaambia county assembly, we can have one license yenye nakata for all this. So hiyo aspect ya mimi kuenda, unajua county assembly inakuwaga kama parliament but ya MCAs. So hiyo kuenda tu kutable kusema watu wa Nairobi hawafai kukuwa na license 6, wanafaa wakuwe na moja. That is what is called a bill. So other MCAs pia wana debate and then kama tu parliament venye inakuwaga ikipita nao ndo inakuwa law. So when everything is approved ndo sasa maybe watasema Nairobi County imeamua hii law traders wasikuwe na licenses 6 ikuwe na moja. So hiyo process ndo legislation basically.
Nice.
Yeah. And the third role ni oversight. You know, we work for the Nairobi county na sisi ndo tunaangalia governor kitu anafanya. So the same way MPs wanaangalia executive, your president na all that, sisi tunaangalia governor. Governor kama anaenda hivi, sisi kama MCAs ndo tunasema hapana, this is the correct way na mambo kama hayo. So those are basically roles of the MCA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Na nikuulize, ukienda kucampaign, are you telling the citizens these roles ama unawarushia ka cabbage na waambia tu nyendeni home? You don't need to know these things.
It's interesting because kwa siasa yetu ya Kenya ni ngumu uende uambie madhe hapo kwa kibanda eti mimi ukinichagua nitakurepresent, oversee county. I mean, it's really hard for the common mwananchi kujua hivyo. So what we tell them is aspects, for example kama kwetu kuna shida ya maji. So unamwambia nitaensure kuna maji. Na nitaensureaje kuna maji? It is through lobby na kwenda kwa county, unaona. So unamweleza in those aspects in as much as, and that is of course representation. Na kama ni oversight, kama county government ya Nairobi ilikuwa ipeleke maji Kibra na ijapeleka, inamaanisha I'm overseeing it. So you bring it down to the real issues that affects them and now linking them to the roles of an MCA.
Oh yeah, nice. Actually you make the problem equal actual to them. It's gonna pay just my vocabularies that they can't understand. True. Because actually when you speak to my problem, I hear you, even heart to heart, even with my mind. So it's a good thing that you're doing. And we've come to the end of part 1 of episode 4. Thank you so much, Aisha, for being part of this session. Please, our audience, listen in for more of this conversation on our social media platforms. Thank you so much.
From the heartbeat of the Republic, this is the PAWA podcast. Be powerful.